Okay, so we are live. We're live here on Zoom. We're live here on YouTube as well. Welcome everyone to Warriors of Light Show. This is round 2, a repetition, well, a try once again with Mukulu. Ronny Mokabane, he's here to contemplate with us, to take us on a journey, a deeper understanding of the inner mechanics of spiritual callings. I'm really excited for this. Welcome back, Mkulu. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Joy. Thank you. It's really an honor again in this, our second try to be on this, your lovely show. It's really an honor, and I really appreciate you inviting me to this show.
Yes, yeah. Finger crossed that it goes well. It now seems like it might be me this time around, but we're holding space that this happens. This is a conversation that is so potent and so necessary right now with everything that's ongoing, but particularly with this renaissance of many people having the spiritual awakening, coming to a deep understanding that they have spiritual callings. I was just sharing with you that there's so many people who registered to come and join us today here. And I think that's because of the power of this conversation, the inner mechanics of spiritual callings. I mean, it's a fancy title, but let's begin, Mukulu, with just this renaissance that's happening with people coming to a deep understanding of having spiritual callings and what's actually happening right now.
Joy, to get to answer that, it's quite, very much simple that people are aware, that everyone can see, that, there is something that is happening outside of themselves again and within themselves as we speak in this present moment in time. Because all of this starts in cosmology and in the heavens out there. Because as we speak now, we are in a time clock or a cosmic time clock that, the West call it, what do they call it? Sagittarius age or eon. I don't know if this makes sense to, our listeners, that we are now officially, it has been happening back in a couple of few years ago, and we are now officially into that age of Aquarius. And with that age comes, quite a lot of stuff, quite a variety of things in cosmology, because within that very same eon, there's quite, a lot of information that comes with it, and a lot of responsibility that comes with that eon, memory from the past, and us going forward from the memory that we pick up from that eon. Because what we see happening recently with quite a lot of people getting to find themselves, for the lack of a better term to use, us getting to see a lot of, influx of people, saying that, they have got spiritual calls. It's because of this vibration of this Aquarius age. In our body language, they normally call themselves, or people with calls, Banabameti, isn't like children of the waters. And the reason why this is happening, it's because that water again, the very same water that we're talking about, it's calling them back home. That is the reason why you see this huge influx of people, saying or feeling that, they have got, the spiritual calls within them. It's just that what I've noticed with nowadays societies that, you know, quite a lot of people get to be confused when it comes to these kinds of energies that are happening, that are happening around them and within them. You know, quite a lot of people are, you know, focusing on one thing, if I may put it so. I don't know if you follow. It's like, you know, a lot of our people are focusing that, you know, if I have got a spiritual call and I'm African by descent, that means I have to be a prophet, a traditional healer, or an inyanga, or something else that is related to what we have normalized as, you know, spiritual calls. Thus, the confusion that we see happening around. And I believe us going forward now from this, our introduction, we will get to clarify on those as to what is it that is happening within them. And quite a lot of them maybe will have a clearer understanding as to what is it that is happening within them. That thing that boils within them, you know, that makes them feel that they do have got, you know, the spiritual calls within them. Yeah. I hope that, you know, that will be enough for our intro for today.
Oh, it's more than enough. It's more than enough. I'm actually really activated, particularly activated with the way that you started with that we have entered this Aquarian age. And those who study astrology understand that the Aquarius is the water bearer, right? So we are in the rise of the water bearers, the children of the waters, right? So this is something that is happening on a planetary level, it's happening on a cosmic level, and also on an individual level, right? So this new age that is ushering in, it's affecting everyone in this planet, and many different people are responding differently to the rise of the water bearers. So my question, Mukulu, is what is the difference between being influenced and having a spiritual calling, right? So maybe we can even define what we often mean by a spiritual calling.
Joy.
Yes,
Joy,
Mukulu.
Can you
Yes.
move your network connection from where it was, because you were like, you know, there were some cards in between when you were talking here. So there were some points that I couldn't.
Oh no.
Yeah, there were some cards. Move your router to another position.
Okay, I'm going to now. The simple question that you can answer is, what does it look like to actually have a spiritual calling?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That I wouldn't have, you know, a precise answer for, unfortunately, because people do differ, individuals do differ, and again, spirits that live within individuals differ, because the very same spirits or entities that we are talking about right now don't come from the same planets. Again, for a lack of a better terminology to use, they come from, you know, quite a variety of, you know, galaxies or planets out there. Thus them, having quite a lot of differences when it comes to them, coming here, and there's our physical reality, the reality that we call Earth home, and them getting to experience this physicality that we call our reality, our life itself. So when we say, I'm going to try to explain or to give clarity with regards to this, your quest, with regards to what I know and to what I have experienced myself. Because I know quite a lot of people will have, different explanations when it comes to this. Normally, how it happens in our culture, if I may put it that way, it's that when we say an individual has got, a spiritual call of some kind, because calls are different again, it comes to an individual. Normally you would, Joy, are you still there? Joy? Joy?
Mkulu. Yes, I am here. I can hear you.
Problem. Thank
Yeah.
you. Normally how it happens, Joy, it's or let me just give it, let me just give an explanation with my story. How it happened is before I was born, just after my conception. My mother, when I was growing up, she told me that, because we had, quite a lot of people with these kinds of gifts, various kinds of gifts at home. And she has been prophesied that you will bear a child, a boy child, and that child will come up to be, this kind of a person when he grows up. And she was even told that it's what she told me, that, you should not be surprised when that poor boy child, when he or she, when he is born, there will come a point whereby the child will develop, some kind of a particular sickness, a disease of some sort. And in my growth, it happened again the very same way that my mother had been told, that I get to develop a very particular or a peculiar disease of some sort. That when I went to the hospital or to doctors, they couldn't pick up as to what was exactly wrong with me. The reason being it's because my mother had not been that much educated or that much informed. Little did she know that, in life, we do have what we call physical diseases and, conditions that we call spiritual or astral diseases. It happened this way that when I was in my grade 10, I had this problem whereby, I would just become stiff, as in like to develop, seizures of some sort. And those kinds of seizures, we got to notice that, they happen at a very particular time during full moon and when the moon is crescent. That was when, these conditions would be aggravated, and they would, attack me during those times. And since I was still, young, and I was still fragile by then, each and every single time when this happens, when I fall, I would see visions, very peculiar visions and vivid ones in my what's that word for? I just forgot the English words. I mean, the English word for this. When you are in that state, let's say, I don't know if whether you have seen someone who has got seizures. Yeah, normally.
Is that the trance state?
Yeah, they would go like, they become stiff, then they tremble, then they fall. You become stiff. And in that stiffness state, that's when, I could, it was as if I was like traveling to various places, to places whereby I even, got to meet my ancestry. There was a time whereby I felt like I was like, traveling intergalactically. And it was very much intense during those times. And again, with my growth again, with parents being worried that, our child will have, a problem. Maybe he might lose his mind. You never know. Then it got to a point whereby there was a man. He was a healer, even though my parents, were Christians, but there was a man who was a healer whom came to my place. When was it? Was it in I remember, yeah, when he came to my place, it was in 2004, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that was in 2004. Because this, seizures-like conditions, they have been happening. Then in 2004, that's when this old man came to my place. Then he came as a messenger again, as a prophet. And that's when he told my parents that, there's a child that you have here at home, and he has got this kind of a condition. And he told my parents again that, you've been prophesied by the forecoming of this child, that there's a child coming, and so much is going to happen with that particular child going forth. And from there, I remember what the old man did. There was, quite a variety of stuff that, he has done to me, some rituals that he performed on me. And he was the first old man to get, to teach me on how to align my energies, because what was happening to me, it was nothing but, my energies, not being aligned with my physical body. Thus, when a message was to be received, normally my messages come during full moon time and when the moon is at crescent. And during those times, if your energies aren't aligned, then you will have problems. You will fall. You will develop conditions like seizures, conditions like, migraines, quite a variety of things that might happen to you. I mean, that can happen to an individual with a spiritual call. And what I've noticed is that this is what is exactly happening with quite a lot of people out there, that, people are experiencing this kind of abnormalities within them and dis-ease within them. And a lot of them are trying to, to find those, dis-ease within them, the physical way. And when in reality, their conditions are astral, they are spiritual, just like what had happened to me back in the past. Then again, with time and growth again in spirituality, and through the help of the very same old man, I still remember his name. I don't know if whether the old man is still alive. May the universe bless the old man's soul, because he was the spark in everything that you see happening with my life now, and the knowledge that I have acquired from him again, and from the knowledge that I've acquired from my ancestry going forth. And normally the reason why that happens, he didn't tell me, unfortunately, the old man, he didn't tell me as to what was it. I mean, what was it that was happening to me back then? I just, believe that himself, as a healer, again, wasn't aware as to what was it that was happening. It was through, the revelations from a man that an old man that I was named after, that, I got to learn this, that the reason why that was happening to me, it's because so much energy was blocked at my root chakra. That was the reason why those were happening back then. Because what happens in spirit is when you receive information from consciousness or the universal God out there, there's a portion here on top of your head. That's where your hair cycles here. This is exactly where information gets through you. At that very same spot, it moves down your spinal cord, then it goes and hits your root chakra there. Then when there's blockage there, it doesn't find its way back from where it came from, because that is how it should be. That is how things should run in spirit. That is how the spirit runs within an individual. When it finds blockage there, you will be hit by what we call static shock. That is exactly what was happening to some of us during those times. You will fall. You will fall, and you will develop what, one member has just mentioned here, that, you will develop things like fits. And when those happen, quite a lot of people get to lose it with time if this energies aren't aligned. If they aren't aligned, you might lose some of your brain cells again. You might lose your mind. Again, for the lack of a better terminology to use, because in African spirituality, or in spirituality, to be precise, nothing happens for no reason. If something happens, let's say maybe you've got something in your left-hand side, surely there's something that can be done with your right-hand hand. That is what we are told by those who are teaching us in spirit. And again, with our topic today, this is what I've just explained with, energies being stuck in that, root chakra there. That is exactly what creates a lot of people's problems in society. That is why you get to hear a lot of people saying, I am being punished by my ancestors because I am not receiving my call and so forth. It's not necessarily a punishment. It's something that you aren't aware of. It's you not doing what you are supposed to be doing. Thus, you develop what you see, a lot of people developing out there, diseases, because a disease is nothing but, just a blockage of energy, of life force, not flowing properly within you as an individual. Then again, how did I get to, to unblock those energies at my root chakra? As I said before, there came an old man that I was named after. He's actually my great grandfather. He is the man who came to me through my visions again, and he has done quite a lot of stuff to me again. Rituals that he performed, quite a lot of stuff. And he's the man who would normally, speak to me. I would hear his voice speaking to me in my waking state. If there's something that is about to happen, or something that needs to be done, as in like agently, he would whisper into my ears, and I would do as the spirit tells me, because that very same spirit, when he came and visited me, he came wearing the white gown, the white regalia that you see me on my posts. Sometimes I normally post with it. He came wearing that gown, and what he did to me, it's quite, a lot of things that, back then confused me, because to me, I saw him as an ancestor. But him, performing rituals that were from the Bible itself, got me like, then what is this? What is this now? He got me confused, because what he came up with a calabash. It was a calabash, a huge one, filled with oil, and he poured oil on top of my head from that calabash, and he was again holding this thing that you normally see Catholic bishops holding, that thing that they use to walk around with, that they smudge with. It has got a shape. Then there's, something that holds, what they burn, the incense that they burn from the inside. He was holding that, and he had that as well. He cycled me with that, and his last word to me was, go read the book of Psalm 23. Yeah, Psalm 23. That was his last word. The last time he came and visited me, and he anointed me with that calabash. That was exactly what he told me, that you should go read Psalm 23. Because I asked him as to, who are you? Because that was something that, I just wanted to get to know from him. Who are you? Because I didn't know him by then, but when I looked at him, even though he was glowing, it was as if there was light around him. He was glowing, but what I could see was a reflection of me as an old man in that old man. Little did I know that, the very same old man was the man that I was named after. That was my great grandfather. Since that moment, there had been so much revelations unto my life, and those seizures since then I did no longer experience them after his anointing. And since then, so much happened, man. So much, a whole lot more. That, there were quite a lot of things that, I could just look at and make sense out of by just looking at them. And that was, a turnaround time, a turnaround of my life. That is how my calling came. What you see me doing and I start to do whatever they come. Do those, you have got those. You have got those who are drum beaters. You've got with and with the shared, I hope this will get to help a few individuals. And that is happening with them. What I have shared with them, they are.
Okay. Okay. Can you hear me, Mukulu?
Yeah, I'm still with you.
Oh, okay. Yes, I kind of like lost you for a minute there in the last part, but yes, everything else I had. I have so many revelations from your story, your experience, your spiritual awakening to your spiritual calling. What I always find is that there's always these similarities, even if it's not exactly the same thing. The mechanics of how our spiritual callings gets activated, it's similar, like you're saying with the astral disease. I also had a similar experience with that, and also what affects or influences how your body reacts. For you it was the full moon, for me it was the sun. So it's all interesting. What I really like and love, really, it's just how you just explain why often our spiritual awakening is so painful, because of this lack of alignment with the energies, particularly the root chakra, the sacral chakra, and the solar plexus, the lower chakras, the ego metrics, right? And so there is a lot of confusion for a lot of people around why they struggle with hearing, the guides, the ancestral guides, the spiritual guides, why the process, whether that's through like a traditional initiation process or a self-initiative process, is painful and confusing. And so it's about these energies in the lower chakras, right? So two things I want to hear your thoughts and revelations on. So there's no linear formula, but there are patterns, right? So for most people, we do have to do some work with these lower chakras before we can really hear with clarity and with a deeper understanding. The more you go, the more the patterns are easy to understand or easier to understand, right? So there's someone right now who, for them, that spiritual calling is very painful, it's very confusing, right? And it's about the lack of alignment with the the lower chakras and the higher chakras. And so there is not a proper. And that is often because of ancestral traumas or ancestral miasmas that we're carrying in these lower chakras, right? So I'm really interested in what your thoughts are, or just your understanding and experiences around what is often held in these lower chakras, what is blocking people, and what can we do to actually start shifting these blocks so that we can have that clearer energy frequency, so that we're in an organic ascension, in an organic evolution within our spiritual callings.
Yeah, Joy. To answer that, Joy, I am just going to give you what my old man had given me, because that was, something that, helped me quite a lot, that I got, to understand as to how do I go about, dealing with those energies down there, because there were quite a lot of them. There were quite so many of them that, you have to deal with. There's, quite a lot of people whom whom, the energies that, are stuck down there into the lowest points or the lowest chakras of the contextual gateways. It's you find, quite a lot of them nowadays go for what we call, let's say, maybe they go for initiations. I don't know if you still follow.
Yes.
There's a lot of people who are, still, confused if whether should I go for initiation to get to get people who are aware to get to help me with that. Be this together. This so that I get to deal with these energies, these blockages on my root chakra. Well, it's not everyone who is supposed to go for such routes. There's those who are supposed to go for that route. What my old man told me is you have got a very sharp head. That is what he told me when I spoke to him in a vision. I asked, what is it that I should do going forth? Should I go be trained or what? He said to me, already you do have got a very sharp head. You are far much intelligent than you can imagine yourself. So you going for initiation will be a waste of time for you. That is what he told me. So since I said before that, people are different. There are those who are slow learners. Even at school, we do have got people who are slow learners. We do have got people who, grasp, things after a very long time. Those are the very same people, who needs help when it comes to such sectors of spirituality. That they go to people who are more advanced when it comes to their realities. Then those are the very same people who will get to help them with those blockages down there, that they deal with them precisely so. And again, very important factor that my old man mentioned is food. The kinds of food that you consume. It's very much important again when you are in that state. With us Africans, it's the kinds of food that you should be consuming. It should be organic foods. You should abstain from eating meat, and by meat, we mean red meat and white meat. You abstain from consuming these energies because you are dealing with energies that you don't know of within you. So you can't be putting more. within your system. It will be as if you are digging. After digging, then you put the soil back. I mean the soil back. I don't know if I'm making sense.
Yes.
That is the reason why, such kind of individual should abstain from consuming meat, processed foods, processed anything that is processed. Actually, they should try to go organic, so that they get to electrify their systems again with pure organic foods, and the foods that they should be consuming again. On a global scale, it goes with what we call geographic gene pool predisposition. You cannot be in Europe. You can't be in Europe with a spiritual call and eat the same food that Africans in Ghana or in South Africa do consume. They are different. I don't know if I'm making sense.
Yes.
So the kinds of food that you people consume, again, play a very vital role in this regard, because that is exactly what is going to make you vibrant and exuberant to the spirit, to the energies out there and within you as an individual. That is exactly what is going to help you get rid of those energies, those blockages that you find within oneself that are blocking you from aligning again. Abstinence again from cohabitation. That is very much important. A lot of people get to forget that one. They think, since I am going through this initiation process, I can eat whatever I can eat. I can cohabitate with whoever I can cohabitate with. It doesn't go that way in spirit. Because when you are someone with a spiritual call, you are more like a magnet. In our language, each and every single thing that comes around you or closer to you, you magnet. I mean, you attract much of those to yourself. I don't know if I'm making sense.
Yes, definitely.
Just like when I say cohabitation, you abstain from cohabitation, because remember, you are dealing with energies that are at your lowest point of your chakra, just next to your reproductive system, your root chakra. So when you cohabitate with the next person, you don't know what the next person's energies are or the burdens that they have within that chakra are. So when you cohabitate, you are in a way pulling yourself back in spirit, if I may put it that way. It's food, number one, processed foods, herbs that you should be consuming again, should be herbs from your local area. You should be aware and know as to where exactly are your ancestors coming from, because that is the exact geographic location where you should be getting your herbs from, especially the herbs that are going to be helping you to elevate this this energy within you, so that you get to connect very well with the divine supreme intelligence, so that you will be able to receive information from whoever wants to feed you with information in cosmology. Because it's not only your ancestors that wants to connect with you, it's quite a lot of spirits and energies that wants to connect with you. So when that chakra still has got a problem, there still has got blockages there. Blockages from the past. It can be blockages that you have inherited again. Blockages that you might have caused yourself again as an individual. So if that is not dealt with, and whatever entity or whatever energies that wish to come to you you will not be able to find, the difference between a good spirit and a bad spirit when it wants to connect with you. Because that is the first chakra that you should deal with. The kind of sounds that you listen to, the music that you listen to, it's very much important again. It plays a very vital role again, because we're dealing with frequency here. Because as an individual, you're nothing but a vibrational frequency yourself. So you should be aware that, at your root chakra, the vibrational frequency there, it's 396 hertz frequency. And for you to get to be in alignment with your true self, with the colors of your aura that, that surrounds you as an individual, you getting to be in the middle, 528 hertz, which is in the middle, has got the color green again, that frequency. That is the very same frequency that, people should find, synchrony with, for them to be, to get to be aware of their surroundings, the surroundings around them, and the energies within themselves again. The herbs that you consume should be exactly the kind of herbs that your ancestors have been consuming. You cannot be saying that, a lot of people are talking about garlic and mint and whatever that you find online, that you can just consume those and just get instant alignment. It doesn't work that way. You go in connection and again in conjunction with exactly what your ancestry have been consuming, have been taken, so that you get to vibrate at the very same frequency with them, so that you will be able to receive information from them, so that you can be able to take the baton from them, knowing exactly where they have been, where you are, where you're supposed to be going forth. Am I making sense?
Yes. Yes, 100%. You're making sense.
With that vibration again, it's again with what is happening globally, with the kind of music or sounds that we're listening to. It has been it's due to the Rockefeller Foundation that we get to 440. The normal local tuning globally, it's 440, that you are aware of. I know it's 440, and the Mother Earth itself, Gaia itself, is vibrating at 423 hertz. So you can just see the difference there. I'm sorry about that. The difference there, 440, that is what Kanye West had been saying, that quite a lot of people listen up to sounds of music that that doesn't help them in their spiritual growth. It gets energy stuck there in your root chakra. He mentioned that so much is happening in the music industry, that the frequency that you are listening to nowadays, it's 808. And he was being very much precise there, that so much sounds and vibrations that you are listening to, that our people are listening to out there, it's 808 frequency. And that it's, putting a stag on your root chakra, on people's root chakras, if I may say so, while they still have got, quite a lot of energies that they need to deal with down there. And again, with the kinds of sounds and the kinds of, foods and beverages that they are consuming. And again, this goes again with the people that we see nowadays, masquerading on social platforms with spiritual calls. They do have got spiritual calls, but the question is, what kind of sounds are they playing to their initiates or to themselves in trying to get to elevate this energy? Go into the to the next chakra, sacral chakra. Then when it hits them again, it must go up again, must go to your heart chakra. From your heart chakra, it must elevate again, go to your throat chakra. From your throat chakra again to your third eye of perception. From your third eye of perception, it must go again to your crown chakra. So a lot are stuck there. That is why you get to find a lot of people going out there for initiations. And when they come back, they just come back empty-handed, or they just come back, questioning themselves as to what was I going to do there? Because I just went there as Ronny as I am, and I came back again as Ronny as I am. Because the main reason for initiation was for you to get to realize yourself as an individual through your spiritual journey. So if you aren't realizing yourself, what is it that you are doing there? What kind of sounds are you listening to? Or drums are they being played to in their initiation schools there? There's so much confusion that is happening out there with a lot of our people and this our spiritual calls and initiation schools, because back in time, what our ancestry are telling us, it was not exactly what we see happening now. It's totally different. We have lost it so much, that so much information and so much knowledge that was supposed to be acquired there. It's no longer that way. Quite a lot of people are just, doing it for the fun of doing it. And again, we see a lot of our healers out there wearing the regalia they are wearing. You ask them, why are you wearing the way you are wearing? Why these colors? Why this prints? Why the symbolism? Symbolisms on your what you call digiti and what you call your gloss. They can't tell you. A lot of them don't know. And there's so much that we can talk about regarding this, so that our people get to be aware. And maybe we can take we can go back, spiritually speaking, so, and bring back what used to be back in time to our recent day times, that we get to help our people be elevated in spirit and get to understand themselves and get to understand what is it that is happening outside of them and within themselves, and get to understand the vibrations and the feelings and the energies that they feel themselves, for them to get to be able to pass on the messages to the rest of the world out there.
Yes. Wow. So activating, Mukulu. Thank you so much for this expansive perspective of what's really happening with the distortions and the interferences and the confusion that is happening with regards to not just spiritual awakenings or callings, but also the spiritual initiation process and how it's been distorted throughout the different generations. And now we're at this point where there is a need to really return back to that organic way in which we're supposed to be ascending, elevating, moving to self-mastery and realization. right? What's interesting, I also see this also doing this show and also in my work, how for most people there's this disconnection between spiritual callings and the individual soul as a soul and ancestry or our lineages. For most people, spiritual callings, or at least in the context of African spirituality, we often think that our spiritual callings are about our ancestors, our bloodline ancestors, and of course, other elemental ancestries, beings, and so forth, right? But there's always this removal of the self in this whole experience, or removal of the experience of the self. And I think it's part of what creates a lot of distortion with the root chakra and lack of discernment, because we are externalizing the process. We are projecting it to, oh, my ancestors are the ones who called me. They're the ones who I have to do that processes, right? And so forth. Yes, Mukuru.
Yeah, I'm sorry to disturb you again. You will continue. Please don't forget what you wanted to say, okay?
Okay, yes.
I just wanted to add on this one. Again, when you say a lot of people get to externalize what is happening within them and outside of them, as if, it's my ancestry, it's them, as if they are, talking about things that are outside of themselves. That kind of mythology, it's a mythology that, had been, perpetuated or had been brought about by religion. Because it is through religion that, quite a lot of our people learn to get to see the universal God force outside of themselves.
Yeah.
Thus, when we speak of, ancestors or ancestral calls, a lot of people think you are talking about, things that are happening outside of themselves. But in actuality, it's something that happens within you as an individual. Because people should be informed more that, them or us or me as an individual, as a heap as I am an amalgamation of entities and spirits that lived before me from the beginning of time itself. I don't know if I'm making sense.
Yes, 100%.
Because each and every single thing that I call my ancestor, my physical ancestor, it's not out there, it's not in the grave somewhere, it's within me, it's imprinted within my DNA, it's memory within me. Just like I have said or mentioned with my old man, the man that I was named after, that I was able to project him. I was seeing him, I was projecting him actually, because he was actually happening. Each and every single scenario that I've been explaining there about him anointing me, it was something happening within me. I was just projecting it. I was just projecting it as if it's something happening outside of myself. But in actuality, it was something that was happening within me as an individual, just like each and every single thing that we see now. Even now, Joy, even now, this very same call, Zoom call, this incidents that we are sharing now, this the kind of knowledge and wisdom that we are sharing now, to a lot of people, it's as if it's something that is happening outside of them. But in actuality, who is projecting those? You as an individual. You as an individual. So I just wanted to clarify on that one. You can continue. It's fine. It's fine.
I love that. It reminds me of one of the books I read in the beginning of my journey. It's called The Disappearance of the Universe. And it is literally all about understanding that the universe is inside you, that we are that single thought of God, and it's that instinct or the thought that is in manifestation. So the universe, the portals, the ancestors, the dimensions, all that all within you. You are the universe, you know. So 100% agree with that. There is a lot of this discussion, Mukulu. They happen because humanity along the way, along the different root races, we got disconnected from our soul matrices, our connection to the higher aspects of ourselves. We got disconnected from, it's not even a disconnection, it's an illusion that we're disconnected from the universal mind, the God world, the God realm, and so forth. Right? So this is what creates a lot of chaos for us, because we were taught now to see everything that as if it's outside us, right? So this is why also one of the biggest issues we have in African spirituality is the obsession with what I call permission tools, obsession with the rituals. Which candles am I supposed to be using? What is the right cloth to wear? Which lineage am I to initiate? So we get obsessed with the physical, and we then believe that's what having a spiritual calling is about. It's about the tools you're using and how you're using them, when it's really still about that self-mastery, that ascension, that evolution of consciousness through you, but it's the evolution of consciousness of the collective, your collective ancestry, and so forth. So the issue with the root chakra, Mukulu, and also the issue with the astral, I would like to hear your thoughts. First, the root chakra is where our ancestral memories are also stored, right?
Of course, exactly.
Yeah. So this is all the ancestral memories, the good and the bad, right? True. Right? And that's what's creating the stuckness, the good and the bad. And it's actually the bad that creates the density. And that is what we're supposed to be clearing and healing. The imprints of these ancestral memories from the wars and all the trauma that has happened to our people, right? And in African spirituality, there are different tools that we are supposed to be really using to transmute these ancestral memories, imprintings that we're holding in the root chakra, right? And one of the things that I know you like to teach on as a scientist, as a pharmacist, as a medicine man, it's the use of medicine, like herbs and plants, to work with these energies, to heal these energies, and also particularly healing them in alignment with what you spoke about earlier, the genetic predispositions, our genetic lineages. Right? So can we, I don't know what the question is, but it's around all these ideas of not getting stuck in the rituals and the permission tools, but still understanding that because you have embodied as a Black person within a particular lineage, there are specific things that will work for you because of the genetic energy you are carrying.
That is very true, Joy. There are, so much that, can be hindered with your life progressing because of what you are carrying within your energies. Normally, with people who are seers, what they can see or sense, they can sense that through your aura, or through what we call mukoka, or through clairaudience, ancestors that do whisper. They will tell you that, this needs to be cleared out from you. And if it's something that resonates with you, you will feel it yourself as an individual. You being told the very same news that, this must be done with you. And if that is the case, it will resonate with you. You will feel it yourself. I don't know if whether it's only me but I feel if someone is telling me mumbo jumbo, I know that the person is telling me mumbo jumbo. If he or she is telling me, you know, precise stuff, I just know, just right on the spot, that, you know, he is now right. He is now on my vibratory frequency. He's telling me the truth, or she is telling me the truth. There's quite so much. Not that, you know, I outwit rituals, sacrificial rituals. Those must be done, or they are supposed to be done in spirit, because there's quite, you know, a lot or a variety of, you know, entities or ancestral blood lineages that, you know, are stuck in the very same primordial world. That's root chakra. Within that chakra, there's, you know, quite a lot of, you know, what do you call vortexual gateways there, just like an anthill. Am I making sense? Just like an anthill.
Yes.
With so many openings and so many, what do you call those? You know how an anthill is. I mean, it's shaped an anthill. Yeah, that. In that primordial world, we do have got, you know, entities or spirits that are trapped in there, that, you know, needs help from, you know, us in the physical realm, that we get to help them. We elevate them, because each and every single spirit that comes here in this life form, its main aim, it's, you know, to reach its godliness, its godly state, vibrational frequency. That is why we are here for. You cannot just be here for, I mean, be here for the fun of, you know, life itself. It can't be. There wouldn't be any reason why there is what we call life if we just come here for fun. Each and every single spirit that comes here must go through those stages, gets elevated. If it doesn't win, you should remember that some spirits are going to come through you, and them coming through you, they come with their luggages from back in the past. That is what we call, some call spiritual curses, some call them spiritual traumas. I just call them luggages. They are luggages.
Miasma, I call them.
Yeah, those miasma, now those. I have learned something new today. Yeah, those. With those joy, they are those that will need, you know, sacrificial lambs that we get to help them from wherever they are stuck at in that same primordial world. You should remember, this is the lowest primordial world that the Bible talks about. That is exactly where what people call Shaitan or Satan was sent to in the Bible, in the mythological stories that we find in the Bible. So some spirits are stuck in there. So for us to get to help them, we make sacrifices. We give out, we give in a spirit for a spirit. Is it making sense now?
Yes, 100%. Yes, it's making sense to me. Is it making sense to everyone?
I hope.
Let us know.
I hope it's making sense to them as well. You give in a spirit, you get your spirit back. And when you get your spirit back, remember that spirit is within you. That spirit needs help. So when you elevate, you are not only elevating yourself as an individual, you are elevating each and every single thing about you in spirit. So when you go to your godliness state, you are in a way going to your godly state level with all of your ancestry. That is why when you are born, you are hope to your ancestors. That maybe this one can take us to Kanana. You are hope, you are a possibility within possibilities. Each and every single individual that you can find on earth, when you look at that particular person, when you are spiritually inclined enough, when you look at them, you should see possibilities in those people, because them coming here, whatever spirit that incarnated through that particular individual, that this one is going to lead, that army of ancestral memory within you as an individual had hope in you, or had hope in that very same spirit, that spirit that calls you, that this is what is supposed to be done, that we be elevated all together at once. If you get to fail, you will be on another level, another primordial world, another chakra, for the lack of a better term or name. You'll be on another chakra. Then again, we don't know when someone or your children or your children's children will take it from where you left. That is how it should be in life. That was exactly why we had people we call sages back in time. We had people we call saints back in time. We have forgotten about that, our reality, that we are now looking at a man on a cross, hanging on a cross, or someone with, spiritual capabilities, that he or she can do this. That means he or she is the Messiah. Each and every single individual that you see on earth is a Messiah. What individuals need to do is that you must, you need to get to elevate each and every single thing about yourself, that you get to reach your godliness state within you as an individual. Then that is what we call supreme awakening. That is why you get to find so many of our people going through initiations, and to them or to their ancestry, it's as if they are wasting time. In a way, it's them or their ancestry trying to communicate with them on a very deeper level. That why do you keep on repeating, something that we have done back in the past? You keep on repeating it. You should be elevating us now. So you are stuck in the very same level. Why are you stuck in the very same level? I know quite a lot of people are going to fight me when it comes to this one, more especially our healers. They will fight me on this one. But those who are aware, they know that what I am saying now, it's the ultimate truth. They are those that we take through initiations, and that we're not supposed to be taken through initiations. Some people are just, just to be there, so that we get to help them with whatever ritualistic tools that are there, that are available out there, that we can help them with. that when I, as an individual, this is all you need, you going forth or elevating in spirit. So you asked again about, what is it that, people can use to get, to help them. And deal with those, blockages around that. One of them is the food that we have mentioned, right?
Yes. Ooh. Oh, we got disconnected. I thought it was just me. Okay. Hoping that Mukulu will come back. But please feel free to write your questions. Typically, I say write them in the Q&A option, but please put them in the chat because I changed from my laptop, so I can't access the Q&A. So if you have any question, I think we'll do 2 questions or 3 tops for Mukulu is back. Yes, once Mukulu comes back, yes. Please put them in the chat. I see that there's already one here from Ruthie. We will come to that. And if you have any other question, please do that now in the chat. Just write question and then write the question. Okay, thank you. Yes, welcome back, Mukulu.
Yeah, Joy. I was like, what happened now? Was I got cut?
Yes. I think we lost you for like 30 seconds. We didn't hear the last 30 seconds of what you're saying.
Well, I was talking about, the food, right? Sugar. I mentioned, the kinds of food that, people should be abstaining from. Processed sugar, meaning the kind of sugar that you should be consuming is sugar from fruits. When you are dealing with that, those energies around that area. And again, it depends with the individuals. For some people, it might take, just a couple of months to deal with those. For others, it takes, number of years. It depends. It depends again with regards to the intensity of the huishness that we find there. Again, it's hot in here. Excuse me.
Okay. No worries, Mukulu.
Yeah. Oh. Then again, salt. Consumption of salt. When you are to deal with those energies down there, you should be mindful as to what kind of salt are you consuming. Because when we are in that state and dealing with those energies there, what our ancestors are telling us is that, if we can't live without salt, then we should be consuming salt from the sea. Organic sea salt. Not much of it. And again, the kinds of water you just sipped water there. The kinds of liquids and water that you consume should be that of nature. That is why in some of the traditional churches, you find, people with this kind of calls or with callings. They get to encourage them to drink, water from, natural waters actually. Metsia dinogaji dikolo, metsia dipiri, they call them, secret waters, as in like waters that you find up there in the mountains, in caves. You must have those when you are dealing with these energies down there. And again, with us Africans, the kinds of foods that you should be consuming. With us in the South, I don't know with the people up there, up north of Africa, you should be consuming, foods like, sorghum and millet. Those are the two powerful foods that you people should be consuming. The most powerful ones that are in synchrony with your melanin, they go in line with your melanin. Sorghum and millet. No more consuming white processed pap or millet. These are the foods that you should be consuming: millet and sorghum. No more consumption of processed, what you call, beverages and liquor products, because there's so much fluoride in there. There's too much chemicals in there that you are blocking your line, your energy line, the spiritual lineage that we're talking about. A lot of greenies that you should be consuming. Make it a point that on weekly basis, you purge. You must clear this, your epiglottis. This is where what we call your third eye of perception is located, not here, as we are being told by the mainstream media. It is found here in your epiglottis, because when you clearing of the colon, when you clear the colon and when you purge again, you are clearing that chakra there, that your throat chakra there. That is where the secret lies. Quite a lot of people are focusing on on pineal gland as the third eye of perception. But in actuality, the third eye of perception is found here. It's found in your throat, because that is exactly where things do happen, or where you bring forth things to reality with. It's this. I don't know if you are aware of this reality. Because in spirit, even the people with spiritual calls, they will tell you that each and every single time when they are given prophecies, or when they are speaking things to life, things of reality, they would burp. And when they burp, what are you burping with? your epiglottis. So this must always be clear. So if this is not clear, then you will have a problem connecting again with the entities out there and your ancestors within. You won't be able to receive information from cosmology out there and the universal God out there, and information from your ancestors from within. So it should be weekly. You purge, you clean the colon on weekly basis, because you don't know as to what kind of energies you are dealing with. So when you are clean, when you are in your past state, when you are clean, that is when you will be able to receive information from consciousness and information from your ancestry about things that you should be doing to get to deal with those blockages down there. Like I said, blockages do differ. They are not universal. They differ from individual to individual.
Mm.
So we cannot, be given one prescription that use this and that and that and that, then you will be fine. You first deal with what I have just mentioned. After dealing with those, then your answers will come from there, because each and every single individual has got his or her own ways of dealing with these realities in life. I don't know if this answers your question, Joy.
It does. It does, yes. Yeah, it really does in this very expensive. I have so many thoughts. But what's interesting, I think it's even interesting for everyone here, it's is the third eye and the third eye being here in the throat. From my understanding of the advanced chakra system, which is, it's not 7 chakra system, it's actually 15 in our 15 time matrix, right? The other chakra, which is called the mouth of God, is the one literally at the back behind the neck, which is in alignment with the throat, right?
Of course,
and
of course.
right, so I find that interesting, because literally the name, the mouth of God, it's literally receiving that information from the God realm, from the higher consciousness, right? Which is, it's a higher chakra that most people don't know that we have. So when you say this, I'm but that makes sense, because the throat is all of it, this even including the one like at the back, which is where the mouth of God is. So interesting perspective. Let me just look at these questions, because there are some here. Okay. Are you still here, Mkulu? Oh, I will read them for you, Mkulu. You don't need to read them. Come back. Okay, I think he is disconnected. Let me look at these questions about the throat. Okay.
All right.
Yes, okay, yeah. So I find like this conversation of the throat and our communication with the higher consciousness coming from here. So a lot of people want a little bit of clarity around that, right? That clarity being, how do we purge what is held in the throat? How do we basically decalcify, so that we are able to connect with clarity, with higher consciousness, with our luminous ancestors and all the cosmic beings that are supporting us in our journey. Yeah.
Purging.
Did you hear me, Mukulu?
I only picked up purging. You mentioned, that Clarity about paging, right?
Yes, how do we basically decalcify, purge, cleanse this center, this energetic center, so that we can access more knowledge, connection with the higher realms, with higher consciousness, with our good ancestors, our luminous ancestors, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, with paging again, Joy, that again, it goes in line again with what I've just mentioned before, that, helps go again with geographic gene pool predisposition. It's not a one-size-fits-all thing, but the universal thing that, we have witnessed our ancestry doing back in the past. It's that, they would, first, let's say, normally they would do their patching out there in the field, in the rivers. What they would do is they would go there early in the morning, and when they are there, they will just, because they had, vast knowledge of herbs, they would use emetic herbs, fast emetic herbs that were going to help them, emetic herbs. Are they following?
Yes, we're following.
Yeah. They would use those. They would drink, a cup of, a very strong emetic herb. We do have quite a variety of them in my tradition. I don't know about other people's traditions. I know of my Bedi tradition in Tswana, of course, because, the herbs that we use in Bedi are the same as the herbs that we use that you guys use in Botswana. You would use that. Then they would go to the river. Normally what they would do, they would, target, a spot where the waters tremble in the river. Gospel, we say, are you following?
Yes.
Where the waters are making noise. Then they would drink the waters from there. Why drinking the waters from there? It's because they want to clear up, they want to clear out energy, tumbling energy within themselves. So they are using elements from outside themselves to target such areas where there's turbulence within them. They would drink those, fill their stomachs with those, and purge. With those waters. And in a way, what those waters were doing from the inside is that they were dealing with, some spots and energy centers that they get to find, blockages there. Then they target those energy centers. Then they deal with them and eradicate those blockages from the system. A lot of people's diseases were healed by just, purging back in time. A lot of people's diseases were being healed by just, cleaning the colon by itself. Spade it over. There's so much more from this. With purging, a lot of people know about purging. It's just that we aren't aware that this is purging, that, this is important. I work as a pharmacist, I know. In the hospital, they discourage people from doing those. But for some of us, we do that after each and every, after a fortnight. I do purge. I must actually. I don't listen to them because some of the stuff that, I do in the hospital, I do the reverse of them when I get home. because that is the Western way of thinking, or should I say, the capitalistic way of thinking. So when I get home, I think life. I think I become a different man. So whatever they say, I don't do. When I'm there, when I get home, I do the opposite. I just do that. And I find that, working for me, because that had been helping me for quite a number of years now, in correlation and in connection with the people that I call my ancestors and the energies that are out there that wish to communicate with me. It has been helping a lot.
Tovela.
Tovela Joy.
Thank you, Mokolo.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Yes, I am on day 25 of a cleanse. So essentially what you are saying, I'm doing that now, and it's day 25. And what's really fascinating for me is the expansion of my vision template. You said, yeah, the vision template, the way that now I see with such clarity, with such discernment, with such vividness, and things come so quickly to me. I did not know how profound this will be. So I know the power of purging. It's essential that if we're on this journey, if you have a spiritual calling, you engage with these processes, as Mukulu is sharing them. There are different tools, like you are saying, of purging and cleansing, but like medicine, what we put on the body, particularly because we use a lot of our, women in particular, we use also our sacral center. Like the body is literally the technology to receive this message, these messages, for them to anchor and for you to interpret them. It's all connected to the body. That's why the body is one of the technologies you need to take care of, right? Because there are a couple of questions here around, like, so should I cut this out? Should I cleanse? How regularly should I do? I mean, the idea is to do it to the level in which you are able to do it and commit, but it's something that you have to engage with on a regular basis if you seek a deeper connection, if you seek a deeper clarity, if you want to grow spiritually as well. So I think there's one more question that I want you to answer, Mkulu. Lorato, you're asking, on the mouth of God is in our back, is this why it becomes heavy? And how do you open that? I think Mukulu has answered that. Essentially, most of us, we know the 7 chakras, but there are 15, and the other 8 that you may not know of are at the subtle bodies. And like Mukulu said from the beginning, it's like energy comes back and it has to come back up, right? And
they are actually 142 in number.
Yes, there are many, of course. There's always numbers. Yeah.
There are a lot.
Right. Yes. So the root chakra is the first chakra, is the lower chakra, is the most densest. So you have to first deal with that. And the more you deal with the lower ones, the more the other ones just open up organically. So you don't have to obsess, how do I open it? Deal first with the lower ones, and then the other ones will activate. Right? So last question, Mukulu. Yes, 140. I always hear so many numbers all the time. So the question that I want you to answer, Mukulu, is from Ruthie. She asked it earlier around. So she says she's a little confused because you talk about the traditional way of spirituality, but then you also talk about the Bible. So why is that? How does the Bible come in? Because she says the Bible was not designed for the benefit of Africans. So can you expand a little bit on that, and also expand a little bit on what you mean by the Messiah? Everyone being a Messiah.
Point of correction again. By the way.
This is Ruthie. I believe Ruthie is in the US, right? Yes. So, yeah, she's in the US. She's our Black American sister.
Oh, meaning I will have, okay. Meaning I must, gather my English thoroughly. So let me try to gather my English for Ruth. Yeah, the Bible. I know you must be aware of the history that had been swept. That had been swept under the carpet by the Court Council of Nicaea by now, because what you see in the Bible, it's nothing but stories that have been happening back in time. The last remaining of them, we still see them in Egypt. That is exactly what we see, what we find in the Bible. The Bible itself, I wouldn't say, by itself, it's a bad thing, a bad tool. It's not necessarily a bad tool that for that matter. It's a bad tool only for those who take it literal, and for those who don't understand it. Because what has been written in there, it's stories that have been stolen from our libraries back in time here in Africa. They have been anthropomorphized. Some of them have been changed. The names have been changed there and there to suit their agenda, because what they brought us, the versions of the Bible that they brought us, it's nothing but something that makes us feel that we are subhuman. That one is a fact. But when you read the Bible with a core spirit and get to understand that the Bible, the very same scholars who were commissioned by Napoleon back then in Europe to come up with these books that you find in the Bible. The scholars that came up with what you find now in the Bible were the very same people that have studied our ancient mystery schools, that priesthood schools that we used to have back in time. That for one to become a priest had to go to school for 40 years. Pythagoras was one of them. Pluto was one of them, even though they didn't finish up. They have never graduated. They never went for their 40 year of schooling, but they went for such mystery schools back in Egypt at the time. But the Bible, when I refer from the Bible, I don't refer like an ordinary preacher or an ordinary pastor would refer from the Bible. Just a point of reference for them. It's just points of reference. But when I refer from the Bible, I look at the numbers. Let's say maybe it's Matthew 24. I check as to, okay, with reference to what I will be checking, I will be referring at. I check at the verses, the chapter, the numbers, the weddings themselves. How many are they? Because what I normally work with, it's nothing but numbers. So I use the Bible for that. And again, the reason why my old man came to me and anointed me, and he said I should read Psalm 23. It's because with him at his time, when he lived, when he walked the surface of the earth during those times, those were the times when Christianity, when the missionaries were coming to our side and they were, converting our spiritualists and healers in those times. And those were the first of them that went into Christianity back in time, in those times. That was the reason why he used the Bible as point of reference for me to get to understand as to what was it that he was performing, the ritual that he was performing on me. I hope this Malanyana explanation answers Ruth's question, because there's so much that we can talk about, I believe and hope that it's been long that we've been on the call, and there's so much that a lot of people have to do out there. So I hope this answers Ruth's question.
I'm cool. 100%. I think at the core of everything that you were saying today, Mukulu, and even just all the guests of this show, you would realize that there is the organic ways and also the distortions in a lot of our spiritual systems, our spiritual technologies, right? And where that distortions, it's to create confusion within you so that you can disconnect entirely. And that's what happened. What tends to happen for a lot of spiritual people, either we go too far left, you're like, I'm not engaging with anything to do with Christ, the Bible, or we go, I'm not doing anything to do with ancestors, without realizing that there is this middle ground which you have to allow yourself to arrive to through the process of discernment, which tends to happen naturally the more you do the healing, the more you clear, the more you begin to see the truth, which does often exist in all the systems that are available, that you will find yourself called towards. So they say, don't throw the baby with the bathwater.
Of course.
Yes, Mukulu, thank you so much. There were so many questions that you answered, and I really hope that for those that we didn't get to, you still are able to take something essentially from what Mukulu shared, which is a lot. This is the type of episode that you need to replay to really hear again and again what was transmitted to us today. So thank you so much, Mukulu. I'm so sure that there are a lot of people who would like to learn more from you, work with you. What is the process? What are the available services that you have so that people can engage with you, Mukulu?
At the moment, I am found just in Facebook. I mean, at Facebook. I'm on Facebook by the name Ronny Mokabane. You can follow me there. And again, there's a closed group that I do have called Magoni Kalafong. So in that group, that is where I educate members about herbs and their diseases, as to how can we use these herbs to benefit us with regards to to different conditions, and how can we go about making them acceptable in the market and commercialize them. That is what Magoni Galafuk is about. And again, we're going to be discussing issues of this nature once we go to our third segment. We're still now on our second segment, which is still how to formulate the stuff, how to do them nicely. So from there, that is when we will be shifting to metaphysical stuff. That is exactly what we have been, talking about now, and quite a lot more. There's so much more that we going to be sharing in there going forth. But it's unfortunate that the group, it's not for free. People pay to be members of that group, because in there I share very, very vital information. I share very important information, useful information. That is why it's not for free. You have to pop out something. be a member of that group, because I give out my energy there. It's energy exchange. I hope people, understand this, and I think that is all, Joy. That is all.
Thank you, Mokodo. If you don't understand why Nkulu is requesting investment, that's work to be done in the root chakra, where our money issues and lack, scarcity consciousness exist. So that's what you need to heal if you are triggered by the investment. But thank you so much, Nkulu. If you didn't hear the page, if you go to the show's website, the Warrior of Light, or if you also received a newsletter, we did put the link to Nkulu's Facebook page. So you can just go check the newsletter as well as my website, Joy Mohami, and go to his picture, and you should be able to find the link. It will take you directly to the Facebook page. And we'll also do the same, put the link also on YouTube as well. Otherwise, it's his name, which you can also search on Facebook, and then it should take you there. Yes. So thank you everyone for joining us on this Thursday night. We do this every Thursday. We are building a library of consciousness. We're building technologies, information for you to support you in your journey of spiritual awakening, spiritual callings, and spiritual initiation. So we're back again next week, Thursday, with another guest. I hope to see you there. Okay, good night.
Thank you, Joy. Good night.